Welcome back to the Blurb Breakdown with Taylor and Megan, where we break down and dive into the book blurbs, the good, the bad, and the cringeworthy.
Fair warning, this podcast is rated R for mature content, strong language, and spicy discussions. If you're not ready for swoon-worthy scenes, steam, and unfiltered bookish opinions, proceed with caution. Otherwise, grab a drink and join us.
What's up, Blurbers? I'm Taylor.
I'm Megan. We are covering the first part of Crown of Midnight by Sarah J. Maas today. I just recently finished this book, so I am so excited to just jump into this. Oh my goodness. Okay. I'm going to drop this blurb and we're going to get this party started. Never trust an assassin. In Crown of Midnight, the second book in Sarah J. Maas's Throne of Glass series, Celaena Sardothien may be the king's champion, but her loyalty is a lie. As she walks a dangerous line between justice and deception, deadly secrets unravel, alliances shift, and tragedy strikes. Celaena must finally decide where her heart and her alliance truly lie.
Dun dun dun.
So this
Oh,
picks up like right where Throne of Glass leaves off, which I love that. I love when there's not a jump, because then I'm like, what the heck is going on?
Yeah, like don't make me sit there and wait a bunch and then you literally skipped a bunch. So I'm right there with you. So yes, at this point we jump in at the very beginning. Celaena is now the king's champion, and she is supposedly completing the tasks of killing whoever the king wants. Like the king's enemies.
Yeah.
Well, the king's enemies are the good guys.
Yeah, so he's just dropping names and he's like, go kill them and bring them back to me. Bring me something of theirs. Like, I want to know that you killed them. Chaol struggled a lot with this new side of Celaena. He felt like she was very different, that they seemed distant. And, you know, like at the end of the book, they were pretty close.
Yeah.
So at the end of Throne of Glass. So he's very much struggling. And I love that this book is like third person, because you get everybody's feelings. And if it was just one, we might not have gotten Chaol's feelings. So I really like that we get that.
Yeah, I completely agree. I will say he's very torn because of like basically what the king is having her do. And it's like, well, that's your king that you also are working for. But Celaena does eventually tell him that that's not quite what she's doing. Here.
She tells him. He makes some sort of comment about like, you're killing all these people, blah 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 blah, and she's like, okay, can you keep a secret? I'm not killing them. I'm giving them the option. You can either flee or I'll kill you. Of course they're gonna take the option to leave.
Yeah,
I mean, I would. I'd be like, you know what?
Well, yeah, and like she has to basically say like, you need to leave or I'm going to have to, because that's where she's going to save her own ass. Like the king would not let her live if
he would. Yeah, he would completely lose his mind if he knew what she was doing. Like, she's playing a risky game.
Yeah, exactly. Our girl.
Well, and the messed up part is she's bringing back like people's heads or hands or whatever. And initially I'm like, where are they coming from? And she tells you like that she just like, she finds, you know, these actual bad people that were killed or whatever, and she takes their head off and she's just like, here you go, and drops the head at the king. So
yeah, she mutilates it enough to where like, yeah, like the king wouldn't be able to tell that it wasn't the right person. She definitely tries to go close enough.
And then she brings back like jewelry or something specific to that person, so it looks more realistic, like I did kill him and this is his head or his arm. Or I know in one part the king's like, and what of his wife? And she's like, oh, tied her to his body and she's at the bottom of the ocean now, or something like that. I'm like, she's really sticking to it. So one of the first people that we really come in contact with that she's like tasked to kill is Archer, and he is Otterland's whore, basically. He's getting paid to fraternize, I guess. I don't know what we can say and not say.
Yeah, pretty much.
And the king wants him killed because he thinks he's on this like rebel mission to dethrone him and take over. You know what I mean?
Yes. And I mean, is he?
We're gonna find out.
I don't know, Megan, is he?
Because reading this without giving too much away, I was like, oh no, he's a good guy. And then he's not. So she should have off with his head. Sorry, you're okay? Celaena definitely should have just like right off the bat. If unfortunately they knew each other when she was younger, so
yeah, she knows that she definitely knows of Archer. So I think she is a little bit torn about killing him. Like
I definitely understand her reluctance. But then now knowing what I know happens at the end of the book, I definitely wish she would have like taken him out right at the beginning.
Yeah, no, definitely, because a lot of the stuff that we go through with Archer plays a huge role in the like major things that happen in this book. Starting with like Celaena and Chaol's relationship is definitely like blossoming and growing in the beginning of this book. He does, like, Chaol does have some reservations because he feels like his loyalty is going to be jeopardized if he continues on with a relationship with Celaena.
Definitely. Especially knowing that she is going against what the king is asking of her.
Right. Yep, exactly.
He does struggle a lot with that throughout the whole book. This
is what frustrates me about Chaol.
Because he is the king's captain of the guard, so that's where his loyalties need to lie. But he's falling in love with this girl.
Yeah, and he realizes it more when she throws him a celebration birthday dinner.
I loved
with
that.
Just the two of them. And they definitely finally kind of seal the deal there that they do have a relationship. Like
I love how Dorian tried to invite himself. And then Chaol's like, he's like,
poor Dorian.
Please don't. And Celaena's like, I planned this just for the two of us. Like, sorry.
I know, but it's like, poor Dorian. Chaol and Dorian have been
forever,
besties since they were young. So Chaol's like, no, man, we can't hang out on my birthday. I'm gonna go hang out with Celaena, who you had a thing for, and you care about her.
Yeah, and we do find out
now.
I think pretty early in this book that Dorian, early in this book, Dorian's talking about other women, okay? And it makes Celaena feel some type of way. And I think she realizes that there's some lingering feelings there. And I
do think she does care about Dorian a lot still.
But you know I'm Team Chaol. I've been Team Chaol from the beginning. So I was happy. And then Dorian does eventually realize that like he doesn't really have a chance with her. And so he's like, you know what? I'm good. Like, let them do what they're going to do. And I'm just going to take a step back.
Yes, I do agree with that. Again, I know we said it in the first episode. Yeah. I have finished the whole series. So I'm Team somebody else. We'll get to that one
a couple episodes from here.
In the next book. Yeah. But
I just kind of took notes just in order. No specific like chapter or anything. But Nehemia is a big part of this book. Okay. And we see pretty early on in the book that she's trying to win over Queen Georgina because we find out that Nehemia is a little spy trying to get some information. And of course, the closer you are to the queen, if she trusts you, you're going to get more information. So, there we go for that. And then another person who is not big in this book, but definitely I don't know what his role is yet. Okay, is Roland, Dorian's cousin.
Roland.
There's some information, like he's not big at all, but there were a couple things that I picked up throughout the book that I was like, I think this is going to possibly lead to more. So I just kind of wrote it down. He is introduced kind of like cocky like. So like Chaol's get the fuck out. Like I don't like you. And Celaena right off the bat when she met him, he gave her this like icky feeling and she's like, okay, I'm gonna go take a shower now. So she's
I
funny.
love her.
She's so funny.
I love her
but
so much.
I definitely I'm keeping him in the back of my mind because I think there's a couple things that happen toward the end of the book that Celaena catches on to that I think maybe not him specifically, but will play a role in something else, maybe in future books. So
yeah, no, like it is important. Like I've noticed with Sarah J. Maas books, you have to pay attention to some of those characters because she does bring them back. Like she builds her world so well that I know we're like being piled with lots of information and there's a lot of characters, but she does a fantastic job not losing sight of those characters throughout her stories.
Somebody comes back and you realize,
crazy.
oh, I met them 2 books ago. And they were introduced for a reason.
You're like, what? Yeah, exactly. And it's like,
my mind could not.
How do you keep track of it all?
My goodness.
I'm like, wait, who is that again? I mean, I know I wrote them.
Definitely. Oh, man. So Celaena's definitely enjoying the perks of being the king's champion because she's getting paid, right? She's been the assassin, Merlin's assassin. So I don't really know how much she was truly making, because remember in the first book, like, she had to pay Erebin back. So like, how much money did she really make? But now she's like, the castle is feeding her, they're providing like housing for her and whatever, so she's taking all her money and she's spending it on books. She doesn't care, like, books on books on books. There's a part where she like comes in, she's like, oh, this is all I got because it's all I could carry. And she's getting like new shoes, and I love that for her because she hasn't gotten to experience that yet.
No, like, she does get all of that with in the Assassin's Guild. I feel like it came at more of a price in the Assassin's Guild, which I know Assassin's Blade will take us back a little bit more into that time frame, but there was always like something she had to owe Erebin. No, we don't like him.
So Celaena is warned about Wesley. You remember him, Erebin's guard? So he is found dead. He's impaled on the gate outside of, I assume, Erebin's estate. And this was the first I've heard of Wesley, okay? But I was reading and he warned Celaena. Like, she thought he was very much like against her, didn't like her, whatever. He tries to warn her the night that she goes out, like, please don't go, like, it's a trap. And she ends up getting captured. But she was going out that night because so Wesley went after Farron as an act of rebellion for killing Sam, which I don't know a ton about Sam, but he was Celaena's lover, right? And Wesley tries to warn her because she's going out that night, and that's when she's captured. So Wesley doesn't seem like that bad of a dude if he's trying to warn her, and it makes me think like Erebin's a sneaky son of a bitch, because, you know what I mean? Like, if Wesley knew it was a trap and Wesley's Erebin's guard.
Yeah. Okay.
And then jumping back to Roland, okay? Chaol, we find out why Chaol doesn't like him. And it's because he slept with Chaol's lady friend. Lady Lilithin? Something like that. Either way, it was Chaol's lady, and Roland should have kept his hands to himself. But her too. Like, come on now.
Yeah, no, for sure. I don't know how they thought that that's acceptable.
Okay.
No.
Goodness. So
okay.
Celaena is
go ahead, lead the way.
Walking to the library, right? And she runs into something, and we find out what it is later, like late in the book. She runs into something that she describes as animalistic, okay? And the eye of Elena starts glowing when she's near this thing. She doesn't really know what it is, but she knows it's animalistic.
Yeah.
And once the amulet starts glowing, she like hightails it back out of there, back to her room, because she's not playing that game. Because last time something like that happened, we ran into the freaking Ritterak and Kane, and we're not doing that again. Okay? No.
Heck no. We don't need to do that again.
And then Celaena is, when the amulet starts glowing, she's like, I'm going back to my room. I'm going to go talk to Elena, because what the hell? Okay. So she gets down there, and I don't remember knowing this from Throne of Glass, but she runs into this skull knocker. Okay. Mort. And he is kind of sassy. All right. I love him. Okay.
Yeah. Mort is great.
And Celaena's freaking out because he's talking to her, and she's like, holy shit, that's magic. And we're not supposed to have magic, right?
Yes. No.
Right. And Mort's like, oh, I've been here since King Brannon, which we know King Brannon had magic, right? So I guess it makes sense. And he says, what's your name? And she tells him Celaena, and he just kind of chuckles. He's like, yeah, okay.
Yeah. I think Mort might know a little bit more than she expected here.
Yes.
More, it's hilarious.
Okay, so it's a message. She doesn't actually speak to Elena. It's more relaying the message. And it's, you must discover where the king's power comes from and what he plans to do before it's too late. So that is huge.
Mhm.
And we find out later, and you'll find out in part 2 because I don't want to give too much away right now because it was a huge thing. But the king does have power, and he has immense power that we didn't realize until this book. Elena is not there, but she's, relaying messages through more. And he's so funny. Celaena like asks him like a question, and he's like gives her some like off the wall answer, and she's like, what do you mean? And he's like, you need to be more specific in what you ask. And I love him. If something happens to Mort, we're done.
He is very cryptic and beyond sassy. He's so funny. He's a fun character.
So then Celaena plans this whole thing. I don't think it was Chaol's birthday dinner, but she plans to take Chaol to this restaurant type thing, say they have reservations, because that's where Asher's supposed to be. So she runs into him, and he's like trying to smooth talk her, despite the fact that Chaol is standing right next to her, which kind of like he's channeling his inner Roland. Okay. So one of the first things that Asher asked her if Arobynn knows she's back. Like, not in Endovia anymore. And immediately I was on high alert, because why is he asking that? I don't know.
Right. Oh, is he like working
that was my immediate first thought. And like, if he is he going to run and tell Arobynn that Celaena is now out of Endovia, and not just out of Endovia, working for the king?
Yeah, see, and I feel like he probably knows.
He's got to have...
Well, yeah, I mean, come on, like, the king runs a whole competition with Lillian.
Yeah, it's no secret that he's... Like, this is all broadcast. They have people from all over the, country coming in.
Yeah, no. He knows what's going on.
Then we jump into Celaena from book 1, and she is now down in the, dungeons, the prison area under the castle, because she poisoned Celaena. So Celaena goes down there, and she is trying to figure out what's going on, whatever. So Celaena is still struggling with that opium addiction, because remember, she's having headaches, and she doesn't have it down there. She's no longer this important whatever, so she's not getting what she needs anymore. But she's going down there to ask about Roland. What are his intentions? What's he doing here? This, that, and the other. Celaena says that she won't tell Celaena unless she gets her out of there. She wants out. Celaena, I don't blame her. Celaena can't do that, though. And then Celaena says, and I don't know in what aspect she means this of, I can imagine. She says the Night Watch lets Parrington do whatever he wants. So is he going down there to abuse her? Like, I don't think we ever get that answer. Not in this book, anyway.
Yeah. I don't even know, what, to what extent that means for this story, because we know that there's demons and stuff being controlled in some way. So it's like, is he just doing whatever the heck he wants? Is he kind of the mastermind behind a lot of this, and the king's obviously
because the king knows more than we think he does.
For sure.
Yes.
The king definitely knows what's going on.
Then Celaena said a few things that I think are important for the rest of the book. She says she thinks she was brought to the castle for something different than marrying the Duke. Okay? And then she also says something is coming, and I am to greet it. Okay. So I wrote that down because I'm like, that has got to mean something. Sarah's not putting stuff in the book for nothing. Okay.
Right. That's gotta be something. What? I do not know.
So then Celaena talks to Nehemia, and I don't remember exactly what the conversation was, but Nehemia makes a statement. If Terrasen rises again, it would be a genuine threat against Otterlin. I think is she talking about Archer and how there's a possible rebellion? I don't remember.
Yeah, I mean it could be, because we know that Terrasen was a big defeat.
And there's a lot of questions about how the king was able to defeat Terrasen while it was so powerful in literally just a few days. A lot of people are questioning that because what the actual hell? I mean, Terrasen was like the most powerful and Otterlin took them down in mere days. We have wars that go on in the world today that last years with no defeat. So that's kind of wild.
Yeah, it makes me think that there was definitely planning going on well before that. Especially when we get some flashbacks later on in the book where we have like little Celaena. And kind of stuff that happens back then.
Absolutely.
So it is it's very, very interesting.
Yeah. So Celaena is going to her dinner with Archer. And Kaltain is not happy about it. Obviously, jealousy is playing a part here because he saw the way that Archer acted with her at dinner. Or when they ran into him at the restaurant. And how he was real flirty with Celaena. So Chaol's just super not happy about it. And Celaena tells Chaol, I'll see you tomorrow, implying that she's not coming home. So I'm sure that just...
And I know she's all
very... Up, oh my God, he made a comment about her outfit. And she's like, leave me the alone. I'm gonna do what I want.
She's like, I got shit to do. I got things I need to make happen. So I'm gonna play my part in this. And this is how it's gonna go.
She goes to dinner with Archer and it goes really well. They have a good time. They go back to his house. And I think the intention was for him to be dropped off at his home and then Celaena to actually go home. Even though she's fucking with Chaol talking about I'll see you tomorrow. And Archer says, do you want to come in? And I was like, my God. Okay. So she says no. And then she tells him that the king sent her to kill him. And now immediately he's on guard. Okay. And she says, he wants me to kill you because he thinks you're part of a rebel movement. And Archer says that he knows of a group gaining power to do just that in Rifthold. So he says that the group wants to put Aelin Galathynius on Terrasen's throne. And so I think this is the first we're hearing of Aelin, correct? She's the lost heir to the Terrasen throne. So, and we find out throughout the book that the entire noble family, all the noble families in Terrasen were taken down when the king invaded, but nobody found Aelin, which was the little girl.
Yeah, so they, like he said, they believe that she is alive and that she's currently building an army to basically take Terrasen back. So yeah, it'd be really interesting to find out
what comes of that. Yeah, definitely.
To find out,
And if she is raising this army, where the fuck is she? Because in reading this, the movement thinks she's alive and doing this. Nobody knows for sure. Nobody knows where she's at, where she's hiding, where she's keeping this army, So Celaena's like, I'm not going inside with you. I'm not going to kill you. But you have 4 weeks to flee or I'm going to have to kill you. And in the meantime, you're going to get information on this movement for me because I want to know what the hell's going on. So he says...
Yeah, she needs to know everything that's going on so she can make...
Because if he is she going to kill him? Is she still going to let him go? Like, I don't know. So... Chaol has a hard time sleeping that night. And Celaena ends up going to him as soon as she got back. And that's when they solidified... I think that's when they solidified their little situation. If they didn't solidify it then, they solidified it before. They definitely didn't sleep that night. And then Archer also told her that there was a guy doing a masquerade ball and he's got information on this intel. So he invited Celaena to go to that masquerade ball with him and that he would try to get her in so that she could do what she had to do.
All right, so they go to the masquerade ball and it's at some guy Davis's house. Celaena does go snooping because she is Celaena.
Hold on,
and she does.
Do you remember while they're sneaking up trying to get to this room? They're like all over each other, like they were trying to find a room to do the dirty.
Oh yeah, of course.
I loved that. Sorry, go on.
No, you're so good. It's
that's
so
my
funny.
side.
It's
just
very enjoyable.
Insert itself.
No, and I think it's good because this is what this one is, we know it's not really considered romantasy, but it is nice to have a little bit of the the genuine, like, flirty romance side. Like, it doesn't have to be the focus, but
little snippets, yeah.
It is nice to have it in the book. Yeah. So once they finally find like a little study and they find a book and it's filled with word marks and it has a phrase written in it. And the phrase is, "It is only with the eye that one can see rightly." And then Davis catches her and attacks her and pretty much gets her with a blade and poisons her with the gloriella, which is temporary paralysis. And so she has to, like, get herself back to the castle. And
that was very scary for her because she's been poisoned with that before. And she knew exactly what it was, and she knew, I don't have long, I have to get back.
Yeah,
she tried to lie her way out of there with hopefully not setting Davis off. She says the housekeeper let her in, but what she didn't know is that nobody has a key to that study. Only Davis. So she tried.
Yeah.
But she does make it back to Chaol, and she tells him gloriella before she, like, completely falls out. Unfortunately, he had no idea how much she got, so they, like, overdosed her on the antidote, and she starts vomiting, which I'd rather be vomiting than paralyzed. So
yes, yeah. Right, like, it's better to get the poison out than not have enough of the antidote.
So she's okay. She survives that. I wrote this down, but I don't have any context of it, that she finds a solid iron door below the library. So she goes below the library. That's all I wrote. I have more written on it later, but I apparently feel the need to say that now.
Yes, because, well, it's because we do know that iron is the one element that is immune to magic. So, Celaena knows this. So that's where, like, that point is triggered.
She's wondering,
it's just like, something's
why do we
up
need an
right
iron
here.
door if magic is banished?
Right, exactly. So, I mean, that's kind of where we left off on that one. It's definitely something we, like you said, that we will come back to, because Celaena needs to know what the heck's up with that door. Like, we don't know, we just know it's out of place.
And then one little snippet that I don't really think plays too much into the book, but that singer, Rena, I think is her name, comes to sing for the royal family, and she ends up singing about magic, and of course we know it's outlawed, and as a result the king has her and her little clan that she came with beheaded, killed right in front of everybody. I think it kind of just shows how truly set the king is on there being no talk or no use of magic in Otterland.
Yeah, I mean, that really just tells you knowledge is power, because he obviously doesn't want the singer spreading the song, and basically they don't want people knowing about it. Like, why else would you silence them? So again, knowledge is power, and we go back to that. And so they're definitely hiding.
I love that you said that knowledge is power, because Nehemia tells Celaena that she's in a position of power and knowledge. Yes. And Nehemia expresses she's struggling with her relationship with Celaena because she's killing these people. And Celaena's like, don't hate me, but, like, I'm not killing these people. Celaena then decides she's trusting Nehemia with all this information. She takes her down the passageway to Elena's tomb. So this is really important, because this is where that "it is only with the eye that one can see rightly" comes back into play. And they're down there in the tomb, and there's constellations on the tomb, and there's the stag symbol of Terrasen down there as well that we didn't know. I mean, how many times has she been in this tomb, and they never told us that, or if they did, I didn't.
Yeah, I don't recall. If they did, they definitely didn't set in stone.
She does see a word mark, and the word mark has an eye in it, or with it. And she says, when you stand on the stag, which is the symbol of Terrasen again, you can see the face in which the eye is in. Okay. And at that point, Celaena asks Nehemia to teach her how to read and write the word marks. So Celaena is up to something. She is trying to do something.
Oh, very, very much so. And I think she also wants to understand the word marks, because we know Nehemia has a lot of that knowledge, and she really didn't want Celaena looking into it, but I think there is going to come a time where Celaena is going to need to have more knowledge on them.
Yeah, they're a huge part of both of these books so far, so they wouldn't be if it wasn't something that Celaena was going to need in the future. Celaena ends up thinking that the eye that's in the riddle is talking about the eye of Elena, and Nehemia tells her, like, don't be dumb, it's not going to be that obvious. So, because I thought the same thing. I was like,
Nehemia.
the Eye of Elena, like it's protection, and it is only with the eye that one can see rightly. Like, okay, but Nehemia says no. So I guess we're listening to her for now.
Nope, not at all.
Then Nehemia's talking to Dorian. This is after the situation with Celaena, and she tells Dorian, she taps on his chest, and she says, it sleeps in here. Do not be afraid when it wakens, and that when the time comes, she will be there for him to help him. And I said, what does that mean? And I said, is that why the king outlawed magic? So
yeah, because I mean, Nehemia does tell Dorian that he has powers within him.
And Dorian did a little bit of digging, and he realized that like he obviously comes from a magical bloodline, but it's been dormant for generations. That's what I wrote, was the king bitter about it, because like, did the magic fizzle out before it got to him? And that's why he's outlawed magic. That like that was my thought in this part of the book.
Right.
Here, Nehemia tells this to Dorian. Immediately, like, obviously, I thought of magic. I'm sure you did too, because what the f is sleeping, right? Dorian's in a meeting with his dad, and his dad is kind of going against what they're talking about, or going against Dorian in what they're talking about. So Dorian gets pissed off and he leaves. So he goes down and he punches a wall, and it cracked, like spiderweb type crack, and it kept growing and growing and growing until a window exploded, like shattered. And he looks down around him, and there's a perfect circle free of debris surrounding him, and he has no damage to him, no bruises, no cuts, nothing. And that was the first time Dorian realized that there is magic within him. I was screaming because holy shit, your dad outlawed magic and you have it? Hell, honey, you should lead the rebellion, okay?
I freaking loved it. I love that Dorian ended up.
It was just like, fuck you to the king, and we're gonna give your son magic.
Yeah.
Loved it.
Yeah, and it's also really like great because like the captain of the guard and his loyalty, he's the captain of the guard for the king, but we really do find out that Chaol's loyalty is actually to
and Dorian expresses quite a bit that he is not really on the same path as his dad. Like, he doesn't agree with a lot of the stuff that his dad does. Do we know his dad's name, or is he just called the king the whole time? I think he's just called the king. I don't know why I thought that, but works.
Yeah, I think we just call him King of Otterland. If we've learned his name, I forgot it.
Dorian immediately goes searching for Nehemia because he remembered what she told him. He can't find her. Dorian kind of makes himself scarce because he doesn't know what's going on within himself until he can talk to Nehemia. So he tries to stay away from everybody for the time being.
Yeah, and then we do know during like around this time, Chaol is actually told to watch Nehemia because a threat was made on her life. Yeah, an anonymous threat was made on her life. And then we do have a carnival.
Twat Waffle Kid. Arrived. What's the brother's name?
Yes, for Holland, the celebration of Holland's return. Where they also find Baba Yellowlegs, an Iron Teeth clan witch. Which I think, if I recall, this is the first introduction we have with any of the witches in the Throne of Glass series.
So she...
Baba Yellowlegs.
I felt like I was having an out-of-body experience the very first time I read that, because I was like, what is this witch situation? But so she does have, like you said, she's iron teeth clad, so her teeth are literally made of iron, which makes me think like iron is immune to magic, so what the fuck? Anyway, but in her first meeting she mentions fate, which Mort, the little door knocker, did as well. So now Celaena's like, she's questioning some things.
Yep.
And then Celaena keeps having this same dream about her parents, her dead parents, and waking up in their blood. She has nightmares quite a bit. Like at the very beginning of the book, she was having one about Cain. That was like my third note that I wrote down, that she was having these nightmares about Cain as well.
Yeah. It's almost like all these nightmares and stuff. I mean, obviously, some of them are flashbacks of where she's like waking up in her parents' blood. But I feel like it's something, some power above, or you know, what have you, some magical power is trying to tell her something, trying to make her either remember a detail that she at 8 years old missed. Try to warn her about something to come.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
there's definitely something.
I love all the Easter eggs like leading up, because those are my favorite type of books, Taylor, when you have no clue what's going on the whole book and then everything wraps up at the end and you're like, holy freaking crap. Okay, those are my favorite.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I got some recommendations for those.
So that night that she had this nightmare, I think it was the very next day, is the 10th anniversary of her parents' death. So Chaol goes to find her and she's gone. And Nehemia basically says like she doesn't want to be bothered today. So whatever.
Mhm.
No, leave me
Not the
alone.
day
I'm not
for
training.
it.
That's what he was doing. She didn't show up to train, and so he was going to find her. We get a little bit of her point of view when she snapped in Endovier as well. It was the same exact day. Like, it was the anniversary of her parents' death.
Yeah, it was the
Yeah.
9th.
Oh, yeah, because she
anniversary of
wasn't
her
in there
parents'
for
death
very long.
for this one. Yep, and she tries. It's the day
And
that
got
she tried
so
to escape
close.
the mines.
She killed, what was it, like 40
Yep.
people or something? She killed a lot of people.
Yeah, I think it.
Oh, yeah,
I don't
yeah.
remember. I thought
Yes.
it was like 23 years. I don't recall, but she made it far. She made it further than pretty much anyone's made it.
She almost escaped. Then we find out Dorian knew Aelin when they were younger. So that was very interesting.
Yes.
So before she went missing, he knew her. Which kind of makes me think, like, did his dad, like, befriend the Terrasen nobles to, like, stab you in your back? You know what I mean? Like, that's
interesting. That's why I was like, maybe something was actually
Right.
in the works for a very long time. And then they were able to complete whatever they had planned in the few days.
We also learned that Queen Elena was half Fae, and we know Fae usually have magic. And this is where my thought came in that the magic fizzled down, because there was a comment in there that she was half Fae, but then I think King Gavin was human, and then from then on they only bred with humans, which is why I say I thought the magic fizzled out.
Yeah, like dwindled,
Right.
Like little
Right.
less and less gets passed down.
But then Dorian has another bout of his magic, and he's frustrated. He's looking for something in the library, and all the books fly off the shelf. So he's like, oh shit, and he starts putting them back as fast as he can before somebody comes in to question what had happened.
Like, yeah, like what the heck happened? Because it's interesting, though, that Dorian's magic is working. Nobody else's magic can work.
That is wild to me.
Right.
So it's now that Celaena tells Chaol that she really isn't killing anybody, and he tells her, you've lost your freaking mind. You've gone mad, is exactly what he said. Which made me laugh, because that's such a funny phrase to me. You've gone mad.
You've gone mad.
Right.
We're all mad here.
Of course, afraid that the king's going to kill her, which we talked about. Like, the king will take her out. He doesn't care. He didn't want her there to begin with. So.
Right. Yep.
She tells Chaol, she confides in him that she wants to escape. She wants to get out of there and get as far away as she can, where nobody's ever even heard of Otterlin. And Chaol tells her that he'll go with her, that he will help her and he'll go with her. And then they have a very passionate night. Then Celaena, after that night, she's concerned that with them being together, that he's going to get in trouble. They have to keep it a secret. Chaol basically tells her, I'm keeping this a secret because you want me to, and not because I'm ashamed. So he was very adamant on making sure he knew that he was okay with his feelings being public for her.
Right.
And then she's still wearing that You'll Miss ring that he gave her. So that, I knew that ring meant something.
Any love interest that gives off a ring to somebody else is definitely has a meaning.
Dorian's very concerned about his magic. I don't think he's talked to Nehemia yet, and he wants answers. So he goes to Baba Yellowlegs again to find out more about the magic, and she charges him a hefty fee because she's trying to eat her lunch, and he's like, no, I need answers right now. We find out, though, that she is the last born witch of the Witch Kingdom, which is very interesting to me. Like, I tried to wrap my head around that. What do you mean the last born witch? You know what I mean? Because obviously in future books we meet more witches, so that I think are younger than her. So I was very confused about that. Do we find out how these witches come to be if they're not born?
I know this is our first instance where we're getting introduced to the witches. And then Heir of Fire, we're going to get a lot more of the witches. And then Queen of Shadows, you're actually going to get a lot more of these answers. So, yeah. I will just say that the witches are to come. A lot of their history and stuff will be coming in the future.
I won't ask any more questions about that then. Because I've only read through Air of Fire, so. But Baba Yellowlegs tells Dorian that his type of magic is gone, but other forgotten powers are still alive, and that surviving Fae cannot access their magic. Dorian says he can't be the exception, and she tells him to find out where his magic came from, to find out why it left in the first place. So we're sending Dorian on a wild goose chase.
Yes. I mean, but ultimately, like I said, why is his working and the others are not? So, either Baba Yellowlegs had an idea and she's like given a cryptic message that says, hey, like, you know, probably go find out. Or she has no freaking clue and she's like, you should find out why your magic's working and half the rest of us are not.
Very interesting.
Yeah, and so like around the same time, we do have Nehemia tries to get Celaena to promise to help her free Ilway, and when she doesn't, they end up in a fight. And Nehemia calls. I know, because Nehemia calls Celaena a coward and basically just storms out on her, and it's just like, if you only knew.
Celaena, I feel like Celaena had good reason to kind of say no, because she was like, you don't stand a chance against his army. Like, it's essentially a suicide mission. And like you said, she doesn't know what Nehemia knows. Had she have known, she would have sided with Nehemia. And that's what makes me so sad, because future things maybe could have been avoided, but I don't know. So Nehemia calls her a coward, and they didn't talk for a while.
No, not at all. And so that was definitely a bummer, because I really do like their friendship. But I do also think that Nehemia is hiding a lot from Celaena, and in doing so is not allowing Celaena to make the best decision possible.
Do you think it's because Nehemia doesn't trust Celaena? Like, is that why she's not telling her?
I don't know if it's not that she doesn't trust her. I just don't know if she thinks that she's maybe ready to accept everything and who she is and what she's capable of. I just don't think that Nehemia sees her as ready.
That. It's a lot of information and a lot to process.
Yeah, and like, we don't want her to react just like irrationally.
Right. Absolutely.
And make things worse.
So Celaena is going to check on Archer. She's trying to get some more intel, and she finds out Archer has betrayed her, and she is putting these rebel forces he is putting the rebel forces on a ship to escape. And she's like, did you organize this? And he's like, I didn't, but I told the rebel forces and one of their members did. So like, Archer, yes, you did. The hell do you mean?
I'm not the one who exactly did it, but I told this person to do this. Like, okay.
That was annoying. Now, I'm starting to get bad vibes about Archer now. I was fine with him up until this point, and I'm like, you're up to some shady shit.
Right.
So, not okay.
Oh, yeah. Right. No, yeah. Okay, and then, like, so we do see Nehemia is in the tomb talking to Queen Elena, and basically Queen Elena tells Nehemia that it either has to be Dorian or Celaena to basically break the hold. But Nehemia does say that Dorian is not ready, which I do agree. Like, we've seen him. He's getting a little chaotic. He didn't even know he had magic, so he has no control over it right now. And so then Queen Elena asks Nehemia if she knows what she needs to do, and Nehemia says she does. And I'm like,
right, what's the plan here?
What are you gonna do? I know. And so, knowing what I know now, and I'm just like, are you serious? Like, it was just that easy?
Yeah,
like, I know what
she just accepted it. No questions. I'm gonna do what I have to do.
Yep. Yeah. So, the king basically says they're gonna have Nehemia questioned. And so, that's a bunch of red flags right there, then and there. Yeah. So, I'm like, what? And so they're definitely trying to keep that on the down low. Nobody wants Celaena to find that out. I'm sorry, the king doesn't want Celaena to find that out. We do know that, so, like, Chaol's a little bit frustrated with things going on, and so he goes for a walk. And on this walk, he ends up getting captured. By who?
Not sure.
Not sure quite
yet. And, like, who's gonna fucking risk capturing the guard? You got to be pretty brave.
Right, especially knowing that him and Celaena are really close and she's the assassin.
Yeah.
And then the Prince Dorian, like, and Chaol are close,
So Celaena's, like, all up in arms. Nehemia didn't show up for their Wyrdmark teaching that morning, and then Chaol didn't show up for dinner with Celaena that evening, so she goes to his room to look for him. That's when she realizes he's been captured because they left a note, okay? And the note says, yes, mind you, it was over like a sword or something. They left his sword or one of his weapons, but the note said, "We have the captain. When you're tired of stalking us, come find us here." And he drops an address for a warehouse. So Celaena said, bet, and she's going to the warehouse. She takes all of her freaking weapons, daggers, the sword that was there on Chaol's bed. She is prepared. Okay. And then we realize that what they really want is Celaena. They don't want Chaol, but they use him as bait. So she gets there immediately, no questions asked. She starts killing people. She's like, "You got my man. I'm about to throw down." Okay. And she starts taking people out. Oh yeah. And guess who shows up? Archer. He's there, and she realizes that this was all a setup. He wanted her, and he's like, wait, because she's about to kill him and all the people standing behind him. And he's like, hold on, Nehemia is working with us to lead the people and like the rebellion, and she's been working with them for the past 6 months. And like, what? It's fine. Why would Nehemia do that? You know what I mean? Like, I knew she was up to something, but I didn't think it was this. Yeah. And they're wanting to go into Terrasen, this group, and gather troops to basically take Otterlin. Celaena's freaking the fuck out. Where's Nehemia? Where's Nehemia? Where's Nehemia? Because remember, she didn't come to their teaching that morning. So he says, Archer says to ask Chaol. And this is where all hell breaks loose. Okay. Chaol lies to her face and said, I don't know. I don't know where she's at. And he does. He knows she's being questioned. So Archer knows that Nehemia is not actually being questioned. He knows that they're going to kill her. Yeah. Right. And
they want to pin the blame on
So Celaena leaves. She's like, fuck all of you. And she leaves. She runs as fast as she can. And I remember Chaol saying that he hopped on a horse quickly after she left the warehouse, and he still didn't catch up to her on a fucking horse.
Yeah, no, she was going as fast as she possibly can to try to go get to the castle and get to Nehemia. But unfortunately, when she arrives, Nehemia is dead.
Bodyguards are dead that were standing outside her door, and she goes in, and blood is everywhere, and laying in her bed is Nehemia, dead. Oh, I have goosebumps.
Yes. This is so awful. This was so sad. I will admit I was not quite expecting that. I thought she would have made it back.
Yeah. Yeah. Which tells me that the king knew what she was up to. Because why would he have her killed?
Right. Exactly. He knew something, and like I said, this was just this is a huge turning point in Celaena's story, and this whole story. So I'm very excited to see where this takes us. I'm very excited to see
Celaena's about to
her reaction.
Up. She's mad.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, mind you, she just walked in on Nehemia. So episode 2, of Crown of Midnight. We're gonna go over about who she loses it on,
who's betraying who
she confides in,
and
what she's gonna do about it.
We will see you in part 2.
Bye.